Welcome everybody. Mrs. Anuradha Mittal, founder and executive director of the Auckland Institute, is an internationally renowned expert on development, human rights, and agriculture issues. She is a recipient of several awards. Anuradha Mittal was named the most valuable thinker by the Nation magazine since 2008. Under Anuradha's leadership, the Institute has unveiled land investment deals in the developing world, which reveal a disturbing pattern of a lack of transparency, fairness, and accountability. The dynamic relationship between research, advocacy, and international media coverage has resulted in an amazing string of success and organizing in the US and abroad. Mittal has authored and edited numerous books and reports. Her articles and opinion pieces have been published in widely circulated newspapers, including the Los Angeles Times, the New York Times, Chicago Tribune, Bangkok Post, Houston Chronicle, and The Nation. Anuradha has addressed the US Congress, the United Nations, given several hundred keynote addresses, including invitational events from government and universities, and has been interviewed on CNN, BBC World, CBC, ABC, Al Jazeera, National Public Radio, NPR, and Voice of America. Please join me welcoming Mrs. Anuradha Mittal.
Thank you very much. Wanakam, friends. I'm very honored to be here, and I bring you greetings from the Auckland Institute. Auckland Institute is an independent think tank. We do not accept any government or corporate funding. We work globally around land rights, and I'm honored to be here to be sharing the findings of our research around land issues in Sri Lanka. Before I start, in case I mispronounce some of the names of places, I apologize, but I will make my comments available in case it is helpful in your work. On November 9th, Tamil outlets reported that protests in Mandathivu and Pungadathivu had halted attempts from the survey department on behalf of the Sri Lankan government to acquire public land for the Sri Lankan Navy. The latest protests came amidst increased attempts by the Sri Lankan state to occupy even more land across the northeast. Despite more than 12 years since the bloody end of the armed conflict, the Sri Lankan military continues to occupy vast swaths of land across the northeast. On August 27th, the Sri Lankan Ministry of Foreign Affairs released a statement on the progress made by the government of Sri Lanka on peace and reconciliation in advance of the UN Human Rights Council session. At the Institute, where we have been studying land issues in Sri Lanka since 2014, we examined the statement of the government very closely. First of all, let's look at the claims made by the government about amount of land released by the military. The government statement indicated that 89% of state land and over 92% of private land, which is occupied by the military, has been released. As we indicated in a March 21 report, Endless War, the military continues to occupy large tracts of state and private land in the north and east. The numbers compiled by the Auckland Institute researchers indicate that the military occupies 16,910 acres of public and private land in the Mullaitivu district, 4,374.8 acres in Kilinochchi district, 3,027 acres in Jaffna district, and 1,414 acres in Mannar district, and 8,511 acres of land in Bavunia district, for a total of at least 34,200 acres of private and state land in the northern province alone. If the government figures are correct, that about 90% of the land has been released, around 340,000 acres of land in the north alone must have been occupied by troops in the past, and more than 300,000 of these 340,000 acres must have been released. Details of where these lands were occupied, when they were released, and to whom have not been made public by the government. In addition, a large number of military settlements are reported to have been set up in dense forest. These are not included in the statistics that I presented. The government also failed to mention in its statement the new land acquisition activities that are underway. According to information obtained through our research, the state machinery is in full swing to convert historic lands, monuments, and places of worship of the Tamil people to Buddhist viharas, Buddhist culture and practice at a greater pace than it was in 2015. Private and state land has been expropriated for distribution to Buddhist temples through gazette notifications. In the Kuchichaveli DS division of Trincomalee district, 340 acres of land were leased to 7 Buddhist institutions for religious activities through a gazette notification issued in October 2020. Land grabbing under the guise of archaeological excavations has also increased in recent months throughout the north and east. In the Mullaitivu district, the Forest Department has expropriated 32,110 acres of land, and the Wildlife Department claimed 23,515 acres. The Archaeological Department has seized 202 acres, and the Mahavali Authority has taken over 4,368 acres. Since the end of the war in 2009, 67 Buddhist temples have been set up in the Mullaitivu district alone under the Archaeological Department. In the Batikalawa district of the Eastern Province, at the Kevalia Madu, the Forest Department has allotted about 1,500 acres of land to village home guards, with each guard awarded 3 acres each. Attempts have been made by the Department of Archaeology to set up Buddhist Vihara at Kusalana Hill area as a step to occupy 100 acres of its surroundings. 200 acres have been expropriated and a Buddhist Vihara built in Thantamalai. About 150 acres of land at Aliyar Uday has also been allotted to the Department of Archaeology through gazette notification. 100 acres of land in Kudumbilai has been confiscated by the Department of Archaeology. The department has also demarcated a hilly and forested area in Vilodu Malai as an archaeological site and has identified 5 acres of land in the Adi Vairava temple area of the Veruchennai. Meanwhile, in Mayalithamadu and Mathavanai, the Sinhalese are forcibly occupying 1,500 acres of grazing land and cultivating maize. Similar land grabbing is taking place in other districts of the north and east. Let's talk about the resettlement of IDPs, internally displaced people. According to the August 21 report of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, 1,176 IDPs are in welfare centers, and 7,182 people are living with their friends and relatives. These numbers, however, do not match other official numbers. According to the July 21 statistics of the State Ministry of Rural Housing and Contraction and Building Materials, Industries Promotion, 1,391 people are living in welfare centers, and over 11,450 people are living with friends and relatives in Jaffna district alone. One big reason for that is the military occupation of the north and east. The military continues to occupy the north and east at an extreme degree, with roughly 1 military personnel for every 6 civilians, severely impacting the livelihoods and fundamental freedoms of the local population, and further deteriorating living conditions on the ground. The Sri Lankan Army has 7 regional headquarters, of which 5 are located in Jaffna, Kilinochchi, Mullaitivu, Babunia, and Trincomalee in the northern and eastern provinces. The army, which is stationed on civilian lands, cultivates and harvests those lands and sells the produce to the landowners. The military continues to run resorts and multiple shops. At the same time, there are a number of high security zones under military control, which prevent the resettlement of Tamil population displaced during the war. In particular, Valikamam north of Jaffna district, which has been allowed for resettlement, continues to have large military camps and bungalows on private land, and people are denied access to many areas. While the Sri Lankan government has repeatedly stated that the LTTE poses no more threat to national security, the massive military presence provides security for Sinhalese settlements while facilitating the Buddhization process and keeping the population in the north and east under constant repression and intimidation. Whereas the Sri Lankan government's August statement detailed a number of measures taken by the Office of National Unity and Reconciliation, The continuous Sinhalese colonization of North and East raises serious concerns about the Rajapaksha's government commitment to the declared goals of this office. Our researchers witnessed firsthand the massive deforestation in Vavonia and Mullaitivu districts in order to settle Sinhalese population from the south under the Kibulu Oya project. Many other areas under the Nedunkarni Divisional Secretariat area in Vavonia district, including the Vidiwaitaka Kalu GN division, have been deforested, and an estimated 2,000 Sinhalese have been settled in the past few years. Steps are being taken to settle 3,000 more Sinhalese in these areas, and 2.5 acres of deforested land is being provided to each person. Incentives of up to 800 rupees per family per day are provided to prevent the settled people from returning to their native places. Sinhalization of Vavonia and Mullaitivu district is being extended under the guise of the Malavatu Oya irrigation projects. To implement this scheme, the Mahawali Authority has acquired 1,100 acres of land, and as a result, 450 Tamil families live with the fear of displacement from their homes in Vavonia. The local communities informed the researchers that although alternate lands were to be provided to them, at Kapachi Kulam in Vavonia, the land was degraded and it could not be used for anything. Likewise, under Mahavali L Zone Kibulu Oya irrigation project, over 3,000 acres of land were expropriated by the government through the Gazette notification in 1988 and 2017 in the ancient Tamil village of Thenai Maravadi and other close-by villages in Trincomalee district, which geographically connects the north and east. Efforts are also being made to establish 2 new Sinhalese colonies in the vicinity of Thenai Maravadi with the support of the troops. Since the end of the war, large number of Sinhalese have been settled illegally in Nayaru, Kokilai, Kukutu Dubai, and Karuna Tukani of Mullaitivu district, connecting the eastern province with the northern province. Tamil politicians allege that the Mahavali Authority has illegally issued land permits to the settlers. Statistics that were provided by the former minister Akila Viraj during a question-answer session in Parliament on May 3, 2017, demonstrate the extent of Buddhaization in the north and east, in the guise of archaeological preservation. According to the minister in 2017, there were 131 Buddhist temples in the northern province under the archaeological department. Since then, that number has grown. The facts that have been detailed in our report since 2015, and especially in a March 2021 report, and continued research demonstrates that the government's activities align with the characteristics of an ethnocratic state aiming to eradicate the history, the culture of the Tamil people, and maintain the supremacy of the Sinhalese nation across Sri Lanka. Activities to create this ethnocratic state have gained momentum since the Rajapaksha regime took office in 2019, thereby creating a situation that is detrimental to the country's stability, reconciliation, human rights, and peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Mittal. It's a great speech. Mrs. Anuradha Mittal has done a great deal of work with respect to land grab in Sri Lanka. As her presentation reveals, she is a most knowledgeable person in this field. I would like to thank her on behalf of Tamils. We look forward to continue to work with her in this area. Thank you again.